You're rolling with Big Rig Radio, 107.9. The station where the coffee's strong, the signal's clear, and the only thing wider than the highway is our playlist. Keep them hammers down and them shiny sides up, good buddies. Big Rig Radio, hauling the hits coast to coast. Kick it up. Boys, wildlife fever, chrome teeth grinning, I'm gone. 18 wheels all clawing at the blacktop. Hammer down that needle's leaning mean. Coffee in a stained old thermos, sloshing. Smoke from the stacks like a steam blown dream. Eastbound sign keeps flashing in the windshield. State line coming like a barbed wire snake.
Hey drivers, tired of eating mystery meat at them chain stops? Pull into Bubba's Big Bite Truck Oasis off exit 69. We've got showers hotter than a Georgia asphalt in July, lottery tickets that almost win, and chili so powerful it'll keep you awake clearer than a double espresso, or your money back. Bubba's Big Bite, where the food's fearless and the portions are bigger than your rig. Come on in, if you dare.
This is Big Rig Radio, keeping you updated on the blacktop. Weather ahead, clear skies and smooth sailing. But watch for them four-wheelers driving like they got a death wish. Remember, folks, life's too short to drive bored. Stay tuned for more real country on Big Rig Radio.
Signs blur past. Coffee in a paper cup, ash on the dash. A right hand on the wheel, left hand out in the wind. Every time it looks the same till I'm leaving again. White line fever got me chasing down the dark. Highway burning circles in my heart. Headlights hum while the radio sparks. Why
did that work? Yeah, check it out. It's rare for me that things work right off of the bat, and it's always very good when it does. And it looks like everything worked great. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I hope well. We are right in the middle of a job we started yesterday. We were leaving from Louisiana, right in the center of the state, and we are taking a set of autonomous trailers, or autonomous farm tractors up to Washington State. And it's not a particularly heavy load, but we've got two of them strapped onto a flatbed, and I am currently wedged in a roadside fuel stop, and I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to get out. I might have to do some crazy back up and go forward and back up and go forward stuff. But yeah, so we're going to drive the rest of this route today and chat about politics and news as usual. I haven't seen any new VTuber drama. Usually we chat about that at least a little bit. But nothing too terribly interesting in the news. I saw the Dragon Tea guy is big on supporting small VTubers. I'm thinking about applying for his, get a code so people can get discounts on tea if they're watching your streams. That would be cool. I like tea. Actually, everybody in my family drinks tea. I think, honestly, if I had a Dragon Man tea code, it's actually the Dragon's Tea. I think it's the Dragon's Tea. Dragon's Treasure Chest. You know what? I shouldn't be that guy. I should actually look. The Dragon's Treasure. Yeah, there we go. The Dragon's Treasure. His X handle is the Dragon's Tea, like TEA. And, so, yeah. I think I might apply to be a, I don't know what that's called. Not a partner, but an associate. Or an acquaintance, a friend of the Dragon's Tea Man. And, yeah, and then if you watch my stream, you can get a discount on tea, just like everybody else who is a partner with the Tea Man. That's okay. So, yeah, talk about politics today, a little bit of news. One thing I wanted to mention is, and we'll talk more about this once I, get driving and stuff, but the trucking industry in the United States. I know, I make no bones, there's no confusion or hidden kind of fact that I'm definitely right-leaning. The profile says MAGA and all, and you can see the hat. But I know a lot of people on this side of the political aisle know, there's so many illegal truck drivers and people from India driving truck when they really shouldn't be, and being given CDLs by California and other states when they really shouldn't be. Like people having no name given on a CDL, and they can't read signs, they can't communicate with emergency personnel, they can't basically anything. They're useless as a commercial driver, not to mention incredibly dangerous. But there's more to it. There's a lot more to it. It's not just about illegals getting basically fraudulent CDLs. It's not just people who have no idea what's going on the road. It's way worse. And I have two accounts I'm going to tell you to follow if you on X. If you if anybody happens across this stream and you're not already aware of them, you need to follow a guy called Super Trucker. His X handle is at Super Trucker, SUPER, TRUCKER, and an organization he is associated with is American Truckers, which is at ATU Truckers. That's American Truckers United LLC, advocating against illegal immigration in the trucking industry. And like I said, there's so much more to it. If you check out either of those accounts, you will see what they've been working on. I'm talking about hundreds of trucking companies, right, based out of one neighborhood. Can you explain to me how that works? You know, I'm not a real trucker, so I don't know everything that people like Super Trucker and ATU truckers know. You know, my knowledge about trucking is pretty much restricted to get in truck, drive 18 speed, talk a lot of shit while I drive, listen to music, listen to news. You know, I'm here for fun. These guys actually keep the country turning by actually doing trucking. And my lord, it's so much worse than what you see on the news. So, enough chit-chat to start things off. Let's fire up the truck and at least get back out on the road. And, did that? Yeah, okay. I'm always gotta start. Hold on. I always forget, oh god, at least one thing before starting out. And today, that thing is Truckee. Truckee is, of course, the app that is tracking the job status you see at the top of the page there, where I am, how many miles to go, what job I'm on, how much weight I'm holding, all of that. That's Truckee, so we have to get Truckee fired up there. Truckee doesn't always work super well for me, for whatever reason. I don't know why. Sometimes it needs a little prodding.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
Alright, fuel filled up, 300 gallons, 3,100 miles of range. We got 1,100 miles to go on the job. My fuel gauge doesn't always read correctly. For some reason, it, oh god, this is gonna be a terrible time. There's something wrong with the clutch after this last update to ATS. I saw a couple people online talking about how, oh no, there's nothing wrong with the clutch, it's expected behavior. But something just ain't right. It feels like the clutch is being treated by the game as a digital switch, even though when I go into the controls, it is fully aware that this is it's a pedal. I'm using a wheel and pedals, and it sees the full axis. Everything looks correct, but nevertheless, it still feels like an analog or like a digital switch. It's either on or off, like that. Like you can't slip the clutch at all. I don't know what's going on. I know, in real life, you shouldn't give fuel until you're fully out of the clutch in first gear, or you know, whatever or third gear, whatever you're launching at. But after the latest 1.58 update for Truck Sim, that doesn't seem to work anymore. Like even easing out the clutch, it pops at a certain point, like about 30% of the clutch axis. It just pops all the way out. And if you're not giving it any gas at all, you can't ease out. It just stalls. So I'm not sure what's going on there. It doesn't feel right. I might have to poke around in the... There's a file for the game. I forget what the hell it's called. Something.sii that controls how... like the throttle curve and the brake curve and things like that. Like for example, Truck Simulator has an extremely aggressive throttle curve by default. It just doesn't feel realistic at all, even to cars. And from what I was reading online, it's not realistic to trucks either. So I tuned that up so that the early part of the curve is much, much less responsive. It feels more realistic. And I wonder if I don't have to tune something up with the... Uh-oh. I feel like I don't have to tune something up with the clutch either. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on there. Another time. It's suitable enough to at least drive. Like, I can get the truck moving. Shifting is not, like, See, yeah, shifting's not great. It makes the clutch feel like it's slipping all the time. Way back in the day, I used to have an ancient Ford Explorer that was stick shift. You believe they used to make stick shift Ford Explorers? Anyway, it was a five-speed Ford Explorer, and the clutch was collapsing, and so it would slip. It would slip an insane degree, and then it would catch real suddenly. And this kind of feels like that, actually. So maybe we'll just pretend that the clutch in my truck is going bad until I figure out. Oh God! Until I figure out what the hell is going on with it. Please make your turn, buddy. Thank you. But yeah, hopefully I'll figure out what the hell's wrong with the clutch, or SCS Software will just fix it. They're the company that makes truck sim. Because I don't remember it being this bad before the most recent update. I'm convinced it wasn't. I did figure out how to get rid of the overly aggressive gear grinding, which, as a, I'm pretty sure is also related to the weird clutch issue. Like the clutch pops instantly, so every gear feels like it's grinding. And they added an option to lessen the gear grinding effect for improper shifts. Yes, look, right there, about 50%, the clutch just pops all the way out. I don't like it. It's upsetting me. I might have to go post on the subreddit or something about it. I posted to SCS Software themselves, because that's how you get help from companies in the modern day, right? You go on social media. But of course, obviously, no response. Which is, that's unfortunate.
Keep to the right, and then turn right.
They're a small company. They're not even American. They probably saw my profile and were like, "Oh, MAGA, ugh, gross." Which, whatever, fair. I don't actually fault Europeans, people from other places, for not, getting it exactly. They're not here. It's not their culture. They don't understand. Oh, okay. Go ahead, pass on the right. That's fine, too. You can do that. It's not their culture. I don't fault them for not getting it exactly. But, anyway. We'll have to figure out the clutch problem. What's most perplexing is that, if you go into the settings for the game, it lets you kind of look at the axes. Like, you can press your pedals in and see what position the pedal is in. And I see that the changes I made to the gas pedal are still in effect. It still has a much slower initial curve, and then it picks up at the end of the pedal's range. So I know it didn't remove changes that I made, but maybe they made changes. I don't know. I don't think they can update that file. If I've made changes to the file, I don't think they can just update another part of it without overwriting the changes I made. So I don't know. It's got to be something in the game. Or maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe nothing's changed and I'm losing my mind. I honestly don't know. Like I said, it's not too terrible of a problem. I can still drive the truck. It's just weird and kind of obnoxious. And honestly, generally, I'm more of the kind of just go along with it. They'll fix it eventually, or they won't.
Right. And then Turn right.
I'll figure out what the problem is eventually, or I won't, you know. Things like that.
Turn right.
So, now that we're on the road and getting moving, and I've aired all my grievances with whatever the hell is wrong with my clutch, the thing I was talking about earlier, Super Trucker and ATU truckers, the American trucking, the American trucking group against illegals and everything that's going on in the trucking industry. Yeah, it's so much worse than even conservatives understand, I think. We see in the news when, like, illegals are doing things like, for instance, there was just another case of a, I believe was he a Mexican national? I can't recall. But he did an illegal U-turn, and another truck just blew through it, and neither guy was killed. Nobody was killed, thank God. You know, thank the Lord for ensuring that nobody was killed. I don't want anybody to die. Even people who are taking advantage of our laws, and our people, and our culture, and our high-trust society, even people taking advantage of all that, I don't want them to die. You know, I want them to be happy, healthy, in their home country. You know, I want them to go home, be happy and healthy there. Not here. But thankfully nobody died. We're just gonna run that red light, that's fine. I was already in the intersection when it changed. Oh, fuck. Fuck. I was supposed to turn there. Guess what? Check this shit out. We're going to do something patently insane that you absolutely are not allowed to do in real life. We're going to back through an intersection real quick. And go the right way, like psychopaths. See, this is the kind of shit that I can do in Truck Simulator that you absolutely should not do in real life. This is why I'm a fake trucker. I'm a fake trucker so I can get away with doing shit like backing through an intersection to avoid, like, massively off-putting my route. But you see those illegal truckers who have no, like, concern for the rules? Maybe they just try that shit. Like, fuck it. I'm not spending 20 minutes going all the way around and looking for a turnaround. I'm just going to put it in reverse and back through this red light. You never know. But, anyway, so, the illegal truckers, the problems we know about, right? The things the news readily covers are things like, we have, California is the one that comes to mind, who will give people CDLs. One, they're not citizens. It's not even like a green card or a legal resident thing. They just give illegals CDLs to drive commercially in the United States. One, that's fucking insane. But two, and two in that situation is that they don't speak English. And, you know, fine, being here as a visitor, as a tourist, or even a short-term resident, if you don't speak English, that's, you know, fine, whatever. If you're here to view our beautiful country, participate in our economy, and, you know, see what America's all about, I welcome you. You don't have to speak English for that shit. That's fine. But if you're going to work and live in the United States, then yeah, you need to speak English. Pull in for a vehicle inspection. I wonder where that's at. Yeah, you need to speak English if you're working and living in the United States. That's all there is to it, really. So that's the one issue we know about. CDLs for people who don't speak English and aren't citizens. We know that they can't read signs. They can't drive safely. They can't... Oh God, I'm going to hit that guy. Lots of problems, right? But what do you know about how the trucking industry works? I have to admit, I'm learning a lot. I drive Truck Simulator because I like to drive trucks. Not because, I am an expert in the trucking industry or, I know all the business or any of that. No clue. But I have been learning because the Twitter X algorithm, the X algorithm shows you what you participate in, right? And because I keep posting about trucking stuff and my posts, breaker, patriot, and all that shit, I'm getting like the regular, real trucking industry, and I'm learning a lot. For example, there's the guy I mentioned, Super Trucker. He, I've been watching his posts, and he pulls up information about these trucking companies, right? What the fuck does that switch do? I have no idea. Nothing, apparently. So he pulls up information on these trucking companies that are paper, right? Ooh, that's a bad shift. I deserve that grind. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. Anyway, so he pulls up these trucking companies that are essentially paper companies, right? They are not in the United States. The actual fucking company is in a physical another country. Okay, they're not even in the US. They are hiring drivers who aren't legal in the United States and who don't speak English and who have these basically fraudulent CDLs, and they do it for cut rate and drive, real American truckers out of work. But say they have an accident, right? And the trucking industry tracks this through the... Am I speeding? Yeah, a little bit. The alert's going off. I guess it's 35 here. Anyway, so the trucking industry through the feds and the... I guess, maybe, is it the National Highway Safety... Traffic Safety Administration? I don't know who exactly tracks it. But they track the accidents, right? And, so Super Trucker is going on for some of these companies, and they have tons and tons and tons of accidents. Okay, just unbelievable number of incidents happening. Speeding, crashes, just all sorts of shit. So then you keep watching his posts and you find out, well, sometimes these companies are being shut down due to their record, right? And you're like, okay, that's good. That means somebody's actually paying attention. And the problem should solve itself, right? Well, no, because apparently they create this company, get an accident, or they break the rules, they get their shit invalidated. Whatever happens, they found a new company the next day, or they buy an existing company, and the exact same truck, the exact same driver, the same load, everything goes out the next day and does it all again. Literally, the punishment, the disincentive is not enough to stop these people from just continuously breaking the law. The situation can't be dealt with by the current status quo. Not for any, necessarily fraudulent reason at the federal level. I think the problem is that the system was originally designed, one, to operate in a high-trust society, but two, in dealing with people who kind of have a respect for the process and understand why these things are the way they are. And these paper carriers, the companies, chameleon carriers, the illegal drivers, they don't care. They don't give a shit. They're not here. They don't have to suffer the problems of what they're doing. And the system is kind of set up in a way that they can just keep defrauding it. And it gets so bad. It's so bad that, you know, I keep talking about Super Trucker and the things you learn by following his posts. Well, the next thing you learn about the truck companies that just keep reopening and the illegals that keep driving. And you're like, Jesus, how does it get any worse from this point, right? Like, we're at a point, we got illegals driving and bad companies and, you know, people who just go right back out on the street after killing somebody. Familiar that, isn't it? But it gets worse, and you're like, how could it possibly get worse? Right? How can it possibly get worse than that? What if you knew just how many there were?
And then turn right.
You watch Super Truckers' posts, and you see, for example, individual neighborhoods with 300 trucking companies. Can anybody please explain to me how in the fuck does a single new development neighborhood have 300 trucking companies in it? What the hell is going on? What is that? Not a single garage, not a single truck, not even offices. It's not even like these are a dispatch office that's, you know, doing dispatch work for multiple small companies or something, right? Like, I don't know anything about the intricacies of the trucking industry once it comes to the, you know, the organization of companies and how contracting works. But, you know, I think maybe there's a company that does dispatch work for like a ton of owner-operators, right? No office, no garage, no trucks, nothing. It's a house. It's a goddamn new construction house with a family living in it that has multiple trucking companies registered to it. And somehow multiple houses in this neighborhood that are doing this. If you have a non-fraud explanation for what the hell is going on there, I would love to hear it. Because as far as I can tell from the looks of everything, it's just straight up fraud. Just straight up unabated fraud that the Fed is not equipped to deal with. So Trump signs and does and orders, you know, everything needed so that they can stop giving CDLs to illegals. That's a good first step. But they need to deal with these companies. The more I watch Super Truckers posts, and the more... There's another girl... I can't remember her handle or her display name. It's strange. I can remember a portion of her bio, but not her display name. Her bio says former owner-operator. And I think mother to... I can't remember. Anyway. She's another good one, whose posts I've been coming across, talking about all these problems. Oh god, too fast. See, that's why I'm a virtual trucker, not a real one. I can't drive for shit. As somebody on my stream told me yesterday, he was like, "You're really bad at driving." I'm like, no shit, that's why I'm driving a virtual truck while yapping at the gums and talking about politics and shit, instead of driving a real truck, because I'm trash. In all fairness, this game has scaling issues. You know, if you're not familiar with Truck Simulator, everything is scaled 1/20th. So the curves that you have to make in the road are much more common, more often, and more aggressive in changing direction than what those same curvatures in real life would be. You know, so I try not to worry about it. But also, we're just here to have fun. It's no big deal. I almost tipped the damn truck over yesterday. I was running at the mouth and came up way too fast on a curve, and almost literally had the truck up on the right side, and kind of managed to wiggle it back over onto all of its wheels before I ate shit. Which was good, because that was actually this load. I had these tractors on. I'm speeding, I know. But yeah, so the trucking thing, follow Super Trucker, pay attention to what's going on. It's way worse than you could imagine. Like, many, many times worse than you could imagine. I don't even know what the solution is exactly. I know he was on TV. He was on a news program the other day. And boy, Super Trucker's got an epic beard. You ought to see that damn thing. But he was on the news the other day, talking about, you know, some of these issues. So I'm very happy to see it's getting more eyes put on it for sure, but not enough. Some eyes, not enough, and certainly not enough solutions. I mean, it's gonna take Congress playing together, or it's gonna take Trump doing some serious executive order lifting to get this going. But it's important. Important. What else has been going on? I didn't pay super close attention to the news yesterday. I spent most of the day setting up new graphics and getting new things running. And then, of course, right before I started streaming, YouTube went down for like an hour and a half. So that was fun. It was a good time. What's going on here? Anyway, YouTube went down. And so waited around for like an hour and a half for that to come back to life. Then streamed for a while. But didn't watch the news too closely. I'm still flabbergasted at the thing that's been in the cycle for the last few days. It's not new news, but it's, you know, still news. The whole Americans choose Muslims over your dogs thing. Of course, everybody by now has seen Congressman Fine's post. You know, if forced to choose, it's not a difficult choice between, you know, my dogs and the presence of Muslims. And it was kind of off-putting how people immediately was like, that's racist. And I'm like, I'm sorry, do you not have any what do you call it, reading comprehension at all? It's not positively saying like, ugh, Muslims are worse than dogs. That would be well, actually, that wouldn't be racist. That would be religionist, or whatever the word it would be. I don't know if progressives are aware, or if this is new information for them, but Muslim isn't a race, it's a religion. You know, I've seen a lot of people going, I've seen a lot of people going like, oh, well, it's racism when you talk about Jewish people. Why isn't it just religionism then? And hold on, I have to sneeze.
Turn left.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Uh-oh. Bad gear. Go on. Pardon me, I need a mute button so I can sneeze or cough. Anyway, where the hell was I at? Right. So I keep hearing on X like, oh, it's why is it racist to talk about Jewish people, but not just religionist? And I feel like maybe they're missing the core thing here, that Jewish describes both an ethnicity and separately a religion. You can be Jewish ethnically, but not a religious Jew. Crazy to think that. For example, my mother is an ethnic Jew, which according to some people makes me a Jew. Now, if you saw me, I'm about 6'2", blonde hair, blue eyes, built like a linebacker. Well, a short linebacker. And you wouldn't spot me as being, quote, Jewish at all. I'm certainly not a religious Jew.
Use the right exit ahead.
Shit. I'm talking too much and not paying attention to driving. So, yeah, I feel like people maybe are either don't understand or potentially worse, are willfully ignoring this concept in order to kind of lie and deceive about their point, their reasoning, and I don't like that. But yeah, so everybody jumped immediately to say that Congressman Fine was being racist for saying that, but I feel like they didn't they didn't comprehend that he said if forced to choose. And I haven't encountered a single Jewish person who has had anything negative to say at an institutional level about dogs. Like, are there individual people who are like, blah, I don't like dogs? Yeah, of course. I don't really like dogs that much. But don't dare tell me I shouldn't have a dog inside because your religion says it's bad. You can take a long walk off a short pier about that shit. I have a dog. He is a protector, a companion for my family. He does a little bit of work. He's kind of stupid, so he doesn't do a lot of work, but he does a little bit of work. And that dog means more to me than the populations of entire countries. And to tell me, oh, well, my religion says that it's dirty and you shouldn't have it inside. Great. Don't have a dog inside then. That's on you. You tell me that shit? Oh, God. We're going to have hands. That's all there is to it. Or worse. Hands or worse. And, yeah, so Congressman Fine says this completely nothing burger that shouldn't offend anybody. And immediately, oh, what's wrong? Something just failed here. I don't know what that was. Anyway, immediately the usual suspects are doing their usual, like, oh shit, which do we support? Do we support dogs or Muslims? And against all fucking perception, the Democrats immediately started rolling out the group talking point of no, actually, you should choose Muslims. Actually, talking about, oh, this is such a racist talking point, and it tells me that either they can't comprehend the hypothetical of being told you must choose between your new neighbor and your dog, right? If you hear what Congressman Fine said, and your first response is, "Oh, that's so racist," two options. You don't understand hypotheticals, and therefore your IQ is like 85. Or, okay, you know what? Three options. Low IQ, don't understand hypotheticals. 2, you agree with them. Like, you actually do think that dogs are haram and you should not have them indoors, and your opinion should be instituted on everybody else. Or 3, you have some kind of ulterior motive for making this choice. You're not stupid, and you don't believe dogs are haram. You're not Islamic. Yet you still agree with the point for some ulterior motive. And looking at AOC, for example, specifically, just because she's so visible in the news, and rumors are swirling that she's going to be a DNC frontrunner for VP, because we all know the DNC doesn't give a shit about primaries, they just pick. Take her, for example. You know, I do not understand AOC to be a Muslim. I don't know what religion she is, but given that she is a Gen X Latina, I have to assume it's like diet Christianity of some variety, right? Where she was raised believing in Christ, or at least her parents did, and her ethical and moral framework, to some degree as taught, came from Christianity, even if she doesn't like currently espouse those views. I call that diet Christian in origin. Non-church going, yeah, I believe in God types of Christians. So I don't buy for a minute that she thinks dogs are haram, and I don't think that AOC is stupid either. You know, she has a political science degree, and you can be an ideological dipshit but still be, you know, an IQ that can grasp hypotheticals and manage to wake up for class on time and get through the diploma mill. So what is it? That leaves the third option for AOC. She's doing it for an ulterior motive. Okay? She's not a Muslim. She's not stupid. There's an ulterior motive. What is it? You know, people are out here genuinely not giving a shit when people are like, "You're a racist." They're like, "Yeah, I don't care." Or, "Thank you for noticing." And so I don't think it's to appeal. She's only appealing to the hardest core of progressives. And these people already agree with her. She's not buying over any Republicans. Certainly not buying over any Christians by siding with Islam over her own ethos. So what the fuck? That's where you get people bringing up crazy conspiracies, because we've exhausted everything that makes sense. We know she's not too stupid to understand the hypothetical of if you were given the choice. We know that she's not a Muslim, and so we're left with an ulterior motive. And there is no obvious ulterior motive that makes a ton of sense. These kind of things are increasingly dispopular, or unpopular rather, with America, and so it's not to garner support. You've eliminated every sensible reason. You know, every reason that AOC or similar young progressive Christian Foundation politicians would support this thing. Then you're left with crazy shit. If nothing that is sensible apply. Oh my God, this feels tight. Whew. Wow. I am right up on this truck and this barrier. Do not like. Yeah, so if nothing sensible fits, you have to start looking at unsensible things. That's all there is to it. Alright, let me, well, we're at a stop sign here. I just want to... make sure that everything's still working smoothly. Looks like it. Cool. Yeah. So once you eliminate all the sensible things, what's left? You have to start looking at unsensible things. Things that people will say, oh, no, that's crazy. Like, there's no way it's, whatever conspiracy you have in mind. That's absurd, blah, blah, blah. And lacking anything sensible, you kind of got to be like, well, maybe it's not. For instance, and this is just as an example, George Soros, right? And I can almost feel online, whenever you mention George Soros, right, progressive people's eyes roll back into the back of their head, and so hard they actually generate a little bit of lift. The average progressive gets like 2 ounces lighter when you mention George Soros, because their eyes roll back into their fucking head and it lifts them off the ground a little bit. And like, oh, well, that's just a conspiracy that George Soros is controlling anything or doing anything, or, blah, 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 is funding this or that. It's just conspiracy nonsense. And there's 2 things that I say to that. One, yeah, it is conspiracy. No, it's not nonsense. You can look at open records and see that George Soros does in fact well, not anymore, I think he's dead, but his son does in fact fund a ton of progressive causes and things that most of us would agree are pretty fucking bad for the country. So, like, does that family spend a ton of money screwing over Americans? Yeah, absolutely they do. I think Alex, is that the kid's name? Alex Soros? Yeah, 100%. George and Alex Soros have spent a ridiculous sum of money ruining the country. So is that, yeah, that is a thing. But, I don't even remember. There was a second point about George Soros, why their eyes roll back in their head. Oh, like, so is it happening? Yes. But 2, there is a long-standing way that you deal with conspiracy things, right? Say you have some information that you don't want anybody else to know. It's some underhanded shit. It would be very bad if people were to find this out, but then it leaks. So what do? Well, we all know you don't attack it. If you attack that information, you get what's called the Streisand effect, where it actually just draws attention to it. So you can't just go, oh, that's bullshit, that's fake, that's not real, you can't say that, that's racist. No, it just draws attention to it. The lady doth protest too much kind of thing. But, oh, there was a water park over there. That was cool. I have left and right monitors for my mirrors and to see outside of the truck, like this. Oh god, it's not working properly because my mouse is moving. Anyway, I have left and right monitors, and sometimes I catch things out of the corner of my eye that you guys can't see. Like, oh my god, that ambulance is going to hit me.
Use the left lane ahead.
Like there's a water park. Anyway, so you have this information, it's out in public, you don't want anybody to know about it, but unfortunately they do. If you attack it, either the people who are spreading it or the information itself, you trigger the Streisand effect, named for Barbara Streisand. And I don't even remember what the thing was. That's the funny part. And perhaps a beautiful demonstration of how it works. I don't remember what Barbara Streisand was trying to stop, but it drew so much attention to it that the phenomenon was named for her. So you don't just want to denigrate the thing. Instead, 1, you spread FUD. You spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the thing. You spread competing and alternate information incorrect details, entirely different narratives, all of that. You spread all of this different thinking to kind of cloud and muddy the waters, so that when people are passing around information, they're as likely to be passing around fake information that you have spread as they are to be passing around the actual information you don't want to be spread. So, you know, if you, for instance, were to intercept and force an alien craft to land, or were to encounter it's 70 here. If you were to recover an alien wreck, right, and people start talking about it, well, start spreading stories about little green men from Mars.
Use the left
You know,
lane ahead.
make up abduction stories, make up crazy shit that is completely unrealistic in order to
Use the left lane ahead.
you know, make people not sure what's real and what's not. It makes it sound crazier. And that's how they deal with conspiracy information in the intelligence community. You know, the CIA, that's how, oh God, we're going to have a problem. That's how the CIA deals with leaked information, by spreading more information. And on the plus side, you can actually run intelligence ops against that shit. For example, you know, say, let's just say a UFO crashes, right? And the CIA recovers this UFO, but they don't want people to be talking about it. Unfortunately, the information's already out there. They can't stop it, so they spread other stories. How do you spread those stories? First, you identify people who could have access to this information, right? You identify, oh, Bob is in a position to know that there were in fact no little green men, right? And so you fill Bob in on some details, and you identify other people who know different things, and you feed them different details. And it doesn't matter if these details are leaked, because they're not real. Okay? They're not real details. But when they spread those details to create the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, you find out who your leaker is. So not only can you cover up the real information by spreading false information, you can also what's called poison the well, where you find out who in your organization is leaking the information in the first damn place. Two birds, one stone. Very easy. This is de rigueur for this kind of work. You know, this is people security mixed with data security, and that's how they work. So the reaction that progressives have when you mention George or Alex Soros is exactly by design. You spread information that, oh, George Soros does satanic child sacrifice and blood drinking, right? That's fucking crazy. Maybe, but there's no evidence that I've seen. You know, I doubt it's real, but it's contentious. That is contentious. Does George Soros do satanic ritual? He's dead. Did George Soros do satanic rituals? I kind of don't think so, but it's contentious. Some people say yes, some people say no, and there's no evidence to support that. So when you link George Soros did satanic rituals with George Soros spends unbelievable amounts of money supporting progressive causes, you link those two together. That way, when somebody mentions, oh, George Soros spent $2 billion supporting BLM when they were doing the Summer of Love and burning cities down, now somebody can say, oh, you mean the thing about how George Soros does satanic rituals? That's fucking crazy. You're just a conspiracy theorist. Bam. Your actual concern has been negated and denied because the actual concern is muddied with fake concern. That's how they work. That's how they do it. It's how they cloud information, and it's how they prevent you from speaking about information. You know, progressives are super upset to find out that calling somebody a racist no longer triggers an immediate cataclysm against their social capital. It used to be that even the accusation that someone was a racist, or somebody was anti-vax, or that somebody was MAGA, was enough to ruin them at work, ruin them online, eliminate, all of their social capital with most of their friends. And to some degree, that still occurs today. To some degree, there are plenty of communities where if somebody's like, oh, well, you said something racist, you're going to be shit-canned. Like, look at the VTuber thing, right? The VTuber space is incredibly left-leaning. Very progressive. Which, what do you expect? It's anime. It's, a lot of gooners. Obviously, I don't go for that gooner shit. Being a male and having a male model and, doing cool things like Truck Simulator instead of weeb shit. Although maybe I shouldn't talk too much because I am using an anime shader to make Truck Sim look like an anime. But yeah, look at the VTuber space. Very progressive, lots of lefties, and as soon as people like Rev Says Des, the proper way to say that is we the teacher. Oh, hold on, chat. We the teacher, I followed you, please follow me back. Follow me. We the teacher. I'm driving a truck at the moment. And fortunately, as the case may be, I'm using a real pedal, wheel, and shifter. So I can't follow anybody right at this second. But I will go back and follow you after my stream. You just have to give me a minute. Gotta give me a minute. While I bully people out of the lane. Get the fuck out of my way. Oh, nope, okay, he's just going. That's fine. He wanted to play chicken with an 80,000-pound vehicle. But, anyway, yeah, I'll follow you as soon as my stream's done, teacher. We the teacher. Where was I? I was talking about something. Running at the gums. But I don't really remember what it was. I know we were talking about poisoning the well and spreading misinformation. And, oh, right, we were on a long tangent about why the hell is AOC supporting Muslims over dogs. What's the ulterior motive? Honestly, I don't know. I can explain all of the why things are, like, what is physically happening. What is mechanically going on here. What are your options? What makes sense, what doesn't. I can look at all that. These are all things we can kind of look at and assess. Road work ahead. Not great. Anyway, these are all things we can look at and assess and weigh upon their merits. But beyond that, you have to speculate, right? Like, I can look at it and be like, nah, the three major reasons that AOC might be doing this, two of them are invalid and don't make any sense. And so it must be a third, the third one, an ulterior motive. But you have to kind of speculate beyond that. Kind of have to make your own decision or your own kind of understanding of why. Is that Range Rover gonna go? Yeah, it is. And to be honest, I don't even have a specific theory as to why people like AOC would choose Muslims over dogs. I really don't know. Like, there's no massive political capital to be had from the choice. I mean, are you seriously going to tell white liberal, like affluent white liberal women, that they can't have their dogs? That's crazy. That's a crazy strategy. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Even in like politics land, where you can rely on liberal white women to support your LGBTQ causes, you can rely on them to support infinite Somalians and infinite immigrants of all kinds, they're not going to choose the shit over their dogs. That's not going to happen. They're going to, they won't say anything. You're not going to get a bunch of progressive women coming out saying like, oh no, down with Islam, we love our dogs. You're just going to get them to stop talking about you. You're not going to change the narrative or the way people speak necessarily on your side, but they are just going to not talk about supporting you as much. You're going to start to color their way of looking at your opinions because you've said something that caused them to balk, right? AOC, for example, comes out and is like, oh, that's horribly racist. You have to, she didn't say you have to pick Muslims over your dogs, but kind of like aggressively reacted to the comment to the point where people are going to be like, I don't know, no, thank you. So, ulterior motive of big progressive support, that doesn't make sense. What then? Is there some, like, Islamic body trying to take over the United States and she is working for them? That starts to sound crazy, right? When you need to start coming up with conspiracy shit, like, well, maybe there's some kind of large Islamic political group that is working towards conquering the United States from within, and she is either wittingly or unwittingly in service to them. That sounds fucking crazy. But it would make sense. It sounds batshit insane. But if that were the thing, if God himself came down and was like, no, that is actually what's happening, okay, well, yeah, it does make sense. Like, it checks out with everything I'm seeing. But it sounds so crazy on its face that, like, you can't accept it on its face. You need some kind of evidence. And, I mean, that's how I think about things. I need some kind of evidence to go into the, like, maybe this is a conspiracy. And, I don't know, I'd have to think about it. What would that body be? Like, who is in charge of that cabal that would be trying to conquer the United States with dipshit progressive assistance? I don't know. We, the teacher, if you're still watching and you still want to follow, say hello. Or did you just pop in for a follow and leave? We'll see. Well, we got about 375 miles to go on this trip. Time flies when you're having a chit-chat. And we got about 2,000 miles left in the tank. So we're doing good. Doing good. Our next trip leaving from Washington will probably be to Louisiana. I think that's the longest possible trip to make right now, until they add more states. Please make your turn, buddy. Are still working over there? Looks like it. We use a two PC streaming solution around these parts, and I am super paranoid that the other PC is not doing its job properly all the time. And of course, I feel, I'd say that, but I feel like I'm constantly afflicted with little issues. And so my paranoia is not without a cause, exactly. Like yesterday, YouTube went down for an hour and a half before I started. Excuse me, my gosh. YouTube went down for an hour and a half before I started. And then mid-broadcast, absolutely batshit insanity, mid-broadcast, my token for Kick expired and logged me out of StreamerBot while I was streaming. And so I lost chat midstream from Kick. We broadcast to Kick, Twitch, and YouTube. I'm investigating Rumble. When YouTube was down, I saw the Rumble CEO posting, and I actually have Rumble Premium because I am a Mug Club member. I'm a recurring Mug Club member, actually. $100 a year, but it also comes with a year of Rumble Premium since the Crowder crew joined Rumble. And so I have Rumble Premium, and I was going to set up streaming on Rumble when I saw their CEO posting about it. But then I went to set it up, and my Rumble account was created through locals, because that's how you used to support Mug Club. You would get on locals, pay your $100, and you would join the Mug Club community, and they'd send you your mug, and that was that. And you would get access to all the videos on Mug Club, which was somehow powered by locals. But then I don't know if locals merged with Rumble or if it was just Mug Club, but there was some kind of a merger that happened, and the Crowder crew joined Rumble, and the accounts merged. So now I have a Rumble account that is in the same name as my locals account, and I can't change that. Like, there doesn't seem to be any way to change your username on Rumble if it was created from a locals account, because changing your account settings goes to your locals account, and on your locals account there's no way to change your username. So the whole thing is a little fucking convoluted there. That's one thing. Then I saw, in order to get your stream key to broadcast to Rumble's servers, you need to have a 120-second looping video that plays before your stream. And okay, fine. I mean, most streaming services have a static image that is displayed while you're offline. And basically every streamer has built a starting soon animation of some kind. Like I have a 5-minute timer animation, because the way my setup works, I need to go live once Truck Simulator is started, but I need to restart an app after I get in game, because Trucky doesn't work completely correctly unless you start it after Truck Sim. But Trucky needs to be running in order for the stream to see the text. So there are things I have to do after the stream is live, but before I start broadcasting. That's what my starting soon animation is for. It's 5 minutes, and it gives me the time to load into the game, start my telemetrics app, and then get actually back into the game again and make sure everything's working correctly. I don't need a 120-second looping starting animation. I need a 5-minute let me get ready video. And to do that, I fucking play one. That's what I do. I start the stream, I play the fucking video while I'm setting up my things, and we're good to go. So when I saw 120-second looping video for Rumble, maybe some other time. I gotta figure out how that would work exactly. I think the obvious answer is that I create their 120-second looping video, and then I just use my 5-minute stream starting animation as I would, and pretend the looping video isn't real. Unfortunately, for today, I didn't have a 120-second looping video for such a purpose, and so today did not include a Rumble stream. But I set up a channel. I did notice that you can set up a channel in the correct, like the proper name, even though my personal account is named weird because of the locals thing. I can still set up an account in the Jackhammer Lane name. I just have to make that video. The other problem, and one that is going to irk me, I think, with time, is that Meld Studio, which is what I use to stream, has somewhat limited integrations for the breadth of streaming services that are available. For example, Meld Studio has built-in API integration with YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. And I think that's it. And I use all three of those. But it does not, for example, have any integration with X. Now, you can set up a custom RTMP server and send data to it through Meld Studio, which is well and fine. And it's even what I was using to broadcast to X for a while. And that works okay. And it's the same with Rumble. There's no API integration with Rumble. Nevertheless, you can set up a custom RTMP, broadcast to Rumble's servers, and still stream with Meld. But there's no chat. Without OAuth integration with Rumble or X, you can't interact with it. There's no chat, there's no notifications, nothing. You can send data. Now, if you are using a one PC solution, it's probably not a big deal to just open up your browser and check chat on X or on Rumble. But if you're a two PC solution, I'm not streaming from this PC, and I don't know if I can just open up the chat from my account on another on another PC that I'm not streaming from. I don't know. Maybe you can do that. But not having the integration with Meld Studio is a pain in the ass. The other thing that annoys me is that StreamerBot doesn't seem to have X or Rumble integration. The way I view chat from my streaming PC is through StreamerBot with its combined chat widget is pinned over to the side there, and it doesn't have Rumble or X either, and subsequently no chat from those. Unfortunate. Now I know Meld Studio is extensible, which to be honest doesn't help me because Meld's running on my other computer, and I can't see the chat from Meld anyway. Meld Studio has a dockable chat window, which is neat, but I don't use it because it's behind me over there. StreamerBot I do use, and it would be very nice if it had Rumble and X. Of course, to be fair, X's streaming is in a terrible state. Miserable. Elon should give Nikita Beer about 90 days to fix that shit. Terrible. He's doing a lot of little tweaking things to change how the site works in general. But if we're being honest, most of the meat of what's going on here at X is handled by XAI. I gotta be real with Nikita and other X users. XAI, one of Musk's other companies, I think, is doing the real work on how the timeline works and how Grok works, because that's really what makes X unique, is the integration with Grok and the AI-powered timeline. And so Nikita does what? User experience, user interface, how the app itself works. And to be honest, if you scroll through X, you see that basically every video now is, well, shit, there we go, we said it. Basically every post is a video, right? Every moment I am surfing X, I see somebody I follow. Okay, no rubbernecking. I see somebody I follow is streaming live. Right? Like right before I got on, somebody was streaming from Charlie Kirk's account, which is weird and off-putting. I understand why they do it, but it's very off-putting. And this other Christian VTuber I kind of loosely follow, Tabitha Hash, I don't know. Anyway, she was live. They were live. I don't know. I think they're female. They were live. So people are using these multimedia features of X, but they're dog shit. They're absolutely terrible. People are using these terrible, barely working features. And, Nikita has mentioned the need to redo X's streaming and multimedia production portions, but I haven't seen a single motion in that direction. Or, dude, what the fuck is this bus doing? We're doing 5 under in the left lane. You're an asshole. 65 here. I can't quite get up to that speed because of all the turns. But this dude is just vacationing in the left lane with a whole ton of people behind him. Anyway, Nikita, what do you do? What do you do day in and day out? Fix the streaming, my man. This is one of the few parts of this app that are truly within your grasp. Like, I'm not gonna play and think that you're handling the financials of the incoming X money system, right? Like, I don't think you are programming the financial back end. Y'all are gonna have some partners who do financial things, and X is going to partner with them. So what are you doing, man? Fix the streaming. That's what I need you to do. I need you to fix the streaming. And to be clear, the streaming works. You know, it works. Why did that happen? Truck stalled for some reason. I'm convinced there's something wrong with my truck. I need to get it serviced. Constantly stalling, clutch problems. Yeah, so Nikita, my man, fix the streaming. Fix the multimedia producer. I'm serious, man. You gotta fix these things. One thing that stands out brutally is that the chat is it's not persistent. I mean, that's ridiculous. Chat is not persistent. So if I have a stream running and I have X chat open in a window, because again, there's no integration with StreamerBot. If I have X chat open in a window let's say something goes wrong and I need to reload the window. Chat's gone. The entire chat history is gone. And that's crazy. Oh my god, this is also crazy. But anyway, yeah, if you refresh the window, your entire chat history just disappears. Which is just not acceptable. Like, all of the other chat services, with the exception of YouTube, I can see the complete chat history at any time for the entire channel. YouTube doesn't work that way because it treats each live stream like a video with its own comments section and associated chat section. But all of the other services treat your page as the single live stream point, and subsequently you can view the running chat all the time. Chat erasing itself, if you reload the page, not acceptable. It should be at least a per stream permanent chat or per channel. The way X is set up is more similar to YouTube than it is Twitch or Kick, and so I would, understand if each stream had an individual chat, but it can't go away if the page refreshes. It's insanity. Of course, X streaming needs a decent API. I don't honestly know if there is one, but it needs, I don't know, it needs a lot. It needs a whole lot. The one thing I will give X is that their RTMP servers, their ingestion is extremely robust. You can send any resolution at X and it will grin and bear it. I've sent, before I started doing the VTubing, I was sending triple screen widescreen 4K to X, like 57, not 4K, but triple screen 1080p, 5760 by 1080, and yeah, X was like, yeah, no problem, give us that video, as many as much bandwidth as you want, send it. So I will give X credit where it's due. Their video ingestion is very robust. You can send any resolution, any bandwidth, and it crunches that shit. Works great. I can't say the same for Twitch, not by a long shot. YouTube will also let you send basically any bitrate and any resolution. Twitch doesn't give a shit. Oh god. Did I say Twitch? I meant YouTube. YouTube doesn't care. Resolution, bitrate, YouTube doesn't give a shit. I think mostly because YouTube has powerful, hello, Little Hammer Lane is home. Baby Hammer Lane. Yeah, I think it's because YouTube has its own servers that are remaster, or whatever you call it, are re-rendering the video to their standard instead of what you send them. So
To the right. And then take
if I'm on YouTube and I send, 50 megabit and some absurd resolution, they re-render it at their bit rates. Because I've noticed, I have premium, and if I send ridiculous bitrate to YouTube, it automatically enables the enhanced premium bitrate option on the video. So like if you're a non-premium user and you go to some of my old streams, you'll just see 1080p 60 frames a second. But if you're a premium user, you'll see enable premium bitrate, and when you check that, the stream suddenly becomes 1440p, 60 frames a second, but at like 50 megabits. It looks fantastic. And I think that's the original encode being sent. That's the word I was looking for. They re-encode. That's right. Oh, hey, Hamsha12, thank you for following the channel over there on Kick. I greatly appreciate you. Hamsha12. I always like thinking about people's usernames when I come across them.
Navigation resumed.
I like to think about like what inspired somebody's username or what it means to them. Hamsha12. Hopefully that doesn't mean you were born in 2012. Because, well, suffice to say, Gen Alpha aren't real people. Make believe. Ghosts in the machine, as it were. But yeah, thank you for following. Hopefully you enjoy my rambling about politics and news, trucking, VTubing.
Use the left lane ahead.
Oh my god, don't, oh fuck me. Dude was an asshole. I had to get over. He wasn't willing to hear it. But yeah, Hamsha, if you're still there, like, let me know. What's the history behind your username? What's it mean? How'd you pick Hamsha? Am I even saying it right?
Keep to the right. And then take the
Like maybe
exit
that's
to the right.
Ham, S-H-A, for the encryption, right? Is that what that encryption's called? S-H-A?
Use the right exit ahead.
I don't remember. If you can't tell, I'm a reformed IT nerd. I used to run a help desk for a long time. But that was ages ago. Things have changed very much since then. In fact, just to date myself, the last time I ran the help desk was for a project at a company to transition from Windows XP to Windows 7. So, yeah, long time ago. Since then, mankind has created AI and React and H1B and all kinds of man-made horrors. Oh, it's 6. Hello, dear. Mrs. Hammerlane is home. How are you? Good. How was your day? Good.
Use the left lane ahead.
I don't know. Got plans? I don't know. Got plans? Yeah, we've got like 35 miles until we pull into our destination.
Take the exit on the right.
So as soon as we park, shut her down, and finish this delivery, I will cut it for at least now. We might be back later. That was the Mrs. Hammerlane. If you follow me on Twitter. Oh my lord. Okay. If you follow me on Twitter, you'd know her as Carolina Lane or Carolina Lane. I've told that story before. I think of it as Carolina Lane because I don't know. It sounds cool.
To the right. And then
But I think she
take the exit
prefers
on
it.
the right.
Oh God. I think she prefers it as Carolina Lane. Anyway, that was Mrs. Lane.
Use the right exit ahead.
In the world of our VTuber lore, she runs the Hammer Lane Logistics dispatch office.
Keep to the
And
right. And then
shit posts about her own interests and things. Mrs. Hammer Lane. Well, I shouldn't say things like she is a.
turn right.
She's concerned with gender issues and issues with freedom of speech and religion and not losing the country to a million infinite Somalians, that kind of thing. She's a good egg. I love Mrs. Lane. She's a dear. And she puts up with my crazy bullshit. If it weren't completely obvious, I'm a special kind of insane. If you've followed me on X for any length of time, you know I'm not really a human. I'm actually a vampire. Believe it or not, it doesn't really matter. I like to VTube virtual trucks. I am some kind of an ultra-nationalist. Love America more than anywhere else on Earth. I have harsh immigration opinions. Harsh opinions about everything, really.
150 feet. Turn right.
But she understands. Oh, where are we at? Is this it here?
Turn right.
Yeah, it is. Wow, this road is dog shit. This must be a driveway. Although my GPS is treating it like a road still. Hey! That's funny. If you watch any measure of truck simulator streams, you'll see people who use like immersive displays, like I'm using the triple screen, so it's like a wraparound real truck cab. They always wave when they're coming into places, and like there's employees for the companies hanging about, or just people doing things at your destination. It feels kind of real. You give them a wave, like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?" I gotta say, I think this game looks way better with this kind of anime aesthetic I've got going on here. Like, I know it's aiming for a sort of place in between realism and enjoyability. Kind of lets you do all of the fun side of trucking without the bullshit or the infinite H-1B or the infinite Indians and infinite Somalians. But giving it this anime aesthetic just kind of bridges that gap, if that makes sense. It gives it a reason to not be completely realistic, because like, we're trucking an anime world. Maybe one day, maybe there is, but maybe one day there will be a Pro Mods map for Japan, and we can
You have arrived at your destination.
Hey, did you see what they wrote about you in this Discord? I don't give a fuck! Hamsha, you're scum. I'm sorry, buddy. I regret saying anything good about you when I was wondering about your username. I don't care. Actually, you're just a spamming piece of shit. Actually, you are such a spamming piece of shit that you can fuck right off. Yeah, did you see what they wrote about you in this Discord? No, I don't give a shit. You think I don't know what somebody might say about me in a Discord? The opinions I have, the things I say? I don't give a fuck. And thinking I do is setting yourself up for failure. I don't care. You can say whatever the fuck you want. I will say things back. I consider myself to be largely, what do you call it? What is it when famous people have, like, big problems because of things they do? I forget what that's called. Like, there we go. Anyway, it doesn't matter what it's called. I don't have those because I don't do bad things. I don't talk to people in DMs. I don't private message people. I don't join other people's discords. I don't accept conversations from people in private. I don't care. And you're an idiot. Anyway. Parked. Decoupling their trailer. I have simple trailer on, so I don't have to deal with the actual decoupling. Alright, are we going to get to level 26 today? Yes. Excellent. Level 26 unlocks a couple more frame options. Now, this never works correctly. I think it's because of the number of mods I have installed. It doesn't load the upgrades for the truck category properly. But we'll be able to expand to the drop axle with the 300-gallon tank now that we're level 26. So that's cool. Next stream, we'll definitely be doing that. We've got plenty of money. As you can see here, my boys have been running. We've got a couple employees at the company. They're running constantly, so we got about $500,000 almost on hand. Upgrade the truck, do some repairs, probably buy another truck and hire another driver, and head back Louisiana way. That'll be next time. Probably not today, though. It's already 4 o'clock. So, we'll see. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.